Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1058. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to it. Episode 1058. It is Tuesday, 19th of December already. Holy moly. We are getting close to Christmas. The closer we get to Christmas, the less Christmassy it feels. Although it got really cold yesterday. It was feeling quite December-ish yesterday. We've had unseasonably warm weather since like fall began, since like Labor Day. It's been unseasonably warm. So I like cold. I want it cold around this time. Like, give us some snow, give us some cold. I'll take it. And then by the end of January, I'm ready to go back to spring. So Christmas right around the corner. I still have to figure out what I'm getting for Christmas. My wife and I really don't do many gift, couple things, gift cards in the stocking. I'll get her some coffee table books. She'll buy me baseball cards and a gift card. So it's kind of what we do, but still have to figure something out. I've got 6 days, technically 5 days. So I do have to go stocking. I don't even know where our stockings are. See, we don't have a mantle in this house. Where do you put the stockings? I think, so we never had, I guess this is, duh. I don't think I think the last house, truly, I think the last house, our previous house, I think is the only house I've ever lived in that had a mantle. The very first house I grew up in, Anawan, on the corner, small house, no fireplace, no mantle. The house my dad built that I grew up in for most of my life, childhood, no fireplace, no mantle. And then when I went off to college, I lived in when you're in college, you live in like a new house every 8 months. So let's see. First was an apartment. No. Second house, apartment. No. Then I moved into another house. There may have been a mantle in that house. In the dining room? Yeah, maybe not. I don't think there was a mantle there. Where did I live next? Apartment? No. The house that I bought? No. Apartment here? No. House that my wife and I first moved into and rented? That might have had a mantle. That first house may have had a mantle. This house, no mantle. We have a fireplace, but it's one of those, it's built in, no mantle. So I think, and so knowing this, like, well, my God, that's the thing we don't take into consideration. I think this is like common human behavior. It's like if the internet goes down, oh my God, how we can't live without the internet. But it's like, oh wait, I lived most of my life without the internet. I can do this. I'm not gonna die without the internet. Like oh my God, what am I gonna do without a fireplace mantle for the stocking? Where are the stockings gonna go? Oh yeah, where they've always gone. 41 years minus how many years did we live in that house? 6 or 7? 35 years of my life. No mantle. We made do without a mantle for the stockings. Where did you put the stockings? You put them under the tree. See, I'm losing it. I think we're all like, oh my God, what do we do? Oh, we do what we did before. You make do. So Christmas around the corner. I haven't watched any Christmas movies. I haven't watched as many Christmas movies this year as and I don't know why. Maybe it's just doing work. I've really been into college basketball more this year than I have been since I actually worked in college basketball. I've been following my Western Illinois Leathernecks. They played last night, watched the game against Eureka College. Now it's one of those patsy games, cupcakes. Because even though, when your team, if you're not familiar with low major college basketball, which is my alma mater, low major. So if you're like follow only Power 5 and you're not familiar with the Western Illinois of the world, you know, your alma mater brings in Western Illinois and they pay them a certain amount of money to beat them. Even the low majors have cupcakes that they bring in and pay. It's a lot less. But you know, usually it's like, hey, we'll feed you and put you up in a hotel and we'll give you $1,000. So that's what Western Illinois does with Eureka. North Dakota State brought in, oh my God, did you see this? North Dakota State brought in, it's the NJCAA. It's, and I'm familiar with this because we at Western Illinois, we brought in teams from the NJCAA, which is the national, or maybe not, NJCAA is junior college, not that, I'm sorry, not NJCAA. I think there's 3 C's, NCCCA. It's the National Christian College Association. So it's the NCCCAA or something like that. Well, North Dakota State brought in one of those teams and beat them like 112-16, something very similar to that final score. It was like a 100-point win here like a week ago. I saw video. Oh my God. Like, me at fat and 41, and I was never a good basketball player to begin with. What happens when you're 5'10", slow white guy? I could have made the starting 5 on this team. Anybody listening? Kyle, what's up? I'm talking Western Illinois basketball. Kyle's in the house. Kyle's seen me shoot a basketball and play basketball. I could have started on this team that North Dakota State beat last week. So these teams, so Western Illinois brings in Eureka College. They pay them a very small thing and put them up in a hotel, feed them like Subway. And so game last night, Western won by like 30, which is what they're supposed to do. That's what you're always supposed to do. If you pay somebody to bring it, you're supposed to beat them by 30. Drew Cisse plays for the Western Illinois Leathernecks. He, going into last night's game, in the NCAA Division I rankings, number 2 on the season in total rebounds, but behind Hunter Dickinson. You've probably heard of him. You haven't heard of Drew Cisse, but you've heard of Hunter Dickinson. Drew Cisse, Western Illinois, 2nd in the total rebounding, and I think he ranks 3rd, and this is going into last night's games, 3rd in the country in Division I in rebounds per game. He had, I believe, 12 rebounds last night, which is right around his, I think he's averaging like 11.6 or something like that. So Western Illinois, I think they play like a noon game tomorrow. They, I was watching, I got ESPN so I could watch the Leathernecks. I think they mentioned on the broadcast last night, they are leaving. They were leaving right after the game, which I don't think in my 3 years, I don't think we ever left after a home game to travel. And then they played, Kyle could correct me on that. Because Kyle was my travel partner at the SID department. So I think they play at noon tomorrow, like a noon Wednesday game, which is kind of bizarre, but hey, I like it. I'm going to get my work done. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Oh, I've got some exciting news about tomorrow, Wednesday. So I'll make sure I get my shipping done. I'll come in here. I'll have some Goodwill pallets to sort and have the game on in here. So we're going to talk Goodwill Pallet. Not really much to talk about because I haven't picked it up yet, but it's been a while. It's been almost 3 months. So we're going to talk about Goodwill Pallets. And also, I've got an exciting update about Car Dealer Pro, and I'll share that info as well. Philly Joe, what's up? Good morning. Good morning, Philly Joe. Shane is in the house. What's happening? David is here. Good morning. Philly Joe says hi to Shane. Harlan's in the house. Good morning. Steel Cards, what's happening? Donald is here. Good morning. Victor, what's up? Good morning. Neil is in the house. Johnny Boy Cards is here. Talking Tatis, good morning. Dan's here. What's happening, Dan? Brian, all he wanted for Christmas was Goodwill Pallet content, and that, sir, is what you'll get. So I think with the Goodwill Pallet, I think maybe I'll do some videos. I had somebody, it's been a while, so I'm like itching. I had a couple people ask me on Saturday at the card show about it. Like, you still buying those Goodwill pallets? I'm like, yeah, if I can find them. Haven't been able to find them, but I found them, and so I'm excited. And somebody mentioned, I think somebody tweeted, like, do you ever do any long form video content of going through them? And I have, like in the early pallets. So maybe I'll do that this week. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Because it's kind of what happens is with the Goodwill pallets. What happens is I kind of have an idea where the good stuff is, and usually the good stuff's kind of on the top. Because I'll like, oh, I'm gonna put this over here, and then I take that first, and then like my car is left with a bunch of junk, and then the junk, like, it's been 3 months, and I still have an entire shelf of Goodwill pallet stuff because it's all junk wax, and so it's like I still got to go through it just in case, but it's most likely all junk. DPM Sports Cards, what's up? Good morning. Flipping Sports Guys in the house. Congrats on finding another pallet. I passed on the one I found. The price plus drive time wasn't worth it. Yeah, so that's the thing with the Goodwill pallets. They may not be within a drivable, within a fair distance. Speaking of driving and fair distance, and based on the price and drive time. So Cheap Fun Breaks on Twitter, which is I think it's Blowout Cards. Or they're the breaker for Blowout, tweeted out that he's going to have like 100 cases of Bowman Draft paper for sale because he's not, doesn't ship paper, and apparently there's not a paper-based spot. So he's taking offers. So somebody, I think Nick Deontay tagged me, and at first I'm like, oh shit, he's in Florida. He's like, not going to ship, which I'm not going to pay for shipping on that because 100 cases is let's see, 100 cases of paper is probably, oh man, that's got to be 100 cases. It's at least 50,000 cards. It's at least 50,000 cards. So it would be, that would be, I mean, first it's a pain in the ass to pack because you got to pack. You can't ship it in the 4-row boxes. You could, but you're going to risk damage, and it's going to be much more expensive than packing it into flat rate boxes. You could do that, but you're not going to do that for the money you're going to get. So I understand. So he's in Tampa, Florida. So if you're in within like a range of driving to Tampa, Florida, he'll even deliver. If you're close, he's not going to deliver to Wisconsin. But if you're close to Tampa and you're interested in cases of paper draft, I think he's going to give you a good deal on it. It's a lot to sort. But I sent it off. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Here's my price, because it would be cheaper, and I actually ran the numbers. So I ran the numbers on my travel, and I'm like, okay, if he'll deliver, and he said within 12 hours. I'm like, that's more than fair. If I was selling that, I wouldn't drive 12 hours to deliver. So I'm like, I've got a bunch of friends in Tennessee. I'm like, okay, Tennessee, 10 hours from Tampa. It's about 12, 13 hours from where I'm at. I'm like, okay, it's fairly halfway. Like, hey, maybe I'll hit up Nashville. I've never been to Nashville. So I looked it up. Some friends like, hey, you can crash at my place. I'm like, okay, cool. So I looked into that, and I had a number in mind, and I looked at the travel. It was going to be cheaper. I looked into van rent because I can't fit that many cards. It's got to be more than 50,000 cards. It's got to be more than 50,000 cards. Because I think he gave a number of how many 5-row boxes it was going to be. I wonder if I can find that. Let me see. Because I'll be picking up 150,000 cards today. Where are we at? Where's that tweet at? So that's a bunch. So I basically, essentially, it's more than will fit in my SUV. So I'm not going to drive. Here it is. Okay, so it'll be between 44 and 48 5 wide monster boxes. So that's 5,000 count. And so we're going to say the most just in case, it's like, oh, it fit into 48. So, okay, so 5,000. And I mean, these are usually packed pretty tight. Okay, that's 240,000 cards, 110 cases. So yeah. 5 rows. I don't think I could fit that many 5 rows in my SUV. So what was that number again? See, I have short-term memory. Oh, 44 to 40. Yeah. Because I think I can fit in the back of my SUV 5 rows. I can only fit 2 wide. I can fit 3 wide 4 rows, but 2 wide 5 rows. And how many can I stack? I think I can stack about 5 high, and I could probably stack a couple more inside, but it's going to be too wide to the out. So that's 4, 20. I could probably do it. I could probably fit 44 to 48 5 rows, taking up my entire SUV. But I wouldn't be able to see out the windows. And is that very safe? Like, I'll drive, like I did this from DeKalb, Illinois. It's 2 hours. Nashville, Tennessee to Madison, Wisconsin, not being able to see out of I'd be using my, just a general. It's not like I have mirrors for a U-Haul or a conversion van. So I guess it could be done. But I don't know if I want to risk my safety for that, especially in the winter, because I'd probably, it'd be picked up in the next couple of weeks. January, driving through multiple states. I don't know if that's a good idea. So I'm weighing all these things in. I'm looking at U-Haul for a van, for a cargo van. It's $20 a day plus 69 cents a mile. That's a nice price, but that's expensive when you tally up all the miles, even from Nashville back. So I'm like, okay, if I rented one here and drove it down and back, that's double the money. So 69 cents a mile times all that miles. I looked at flights, and a one-way flight from Madison to Nashville was only like $200, where it was going to cost like $400 or $500 for the van rental both ways, or one way. So it would be like $200 or $300 cheaper to do the flight van back as opposed to van down, van back up. So at any rate, I threw a number at them, and I'm like, hey, I'll do this amount if you can deliver to the Nashville area. And he's like, well, this is what I got last year. I know this year's not as good. So I didn't even counter back because I wasn't. It's like, yeah, this is it's gonna be kind of a pain for me. But if I was anywhere closer, if I was in Nashville, I'd be all about it. And I would just go pick it up. Wouldn't even have him deliver it. But I did reach out to some local people. And the Bowman Draft Papers is much higher, because the number he quoted so he told me a number. And he goes, but this year's isn't as good as last year's. And the number I was quoted for this year's was $20 higher than his quote. And he said, it's not even so. And I bought like 12 cases of last year's draft for $40 a case. And now they're going for like 100 to 125. And I'm like, not going to do it. So, I actually did bid on some eBay paper base lots last night, but I was not willing to pay that much. So I got outbid, which is okay. I got a Goodwill Pallet coming. Anyway, that was kind of a side. Dave Richards in the house. Good morning. What's happening? There's Kyle. Dan says, congrats on a new pallet. Thank you. Kyle, what's happening? Good morning. Goodwill Pallet. Going to refill my NASCAR shelf. Yeah, so whenever, that's the only time I get NASCAR is when I get a Goodwill Pallet. Every once in a while on the bulk lot, there'll be like maybe a small pile of NASCAR. But for the most part, the NASCAR shelf gets full when I get a Goodwill Pallet. Although I don't think the last pallet had any NASCAR in it. Maybe a couple things, but not any bulk. So we'll see. We'll see what this pallet will bring. Christian's in the house. What's up? Bummed the Seahens won. Lions playoff clincher has to wait a week. Mark Marinello, what's up? Good morning. New York media saying Mets have the inside track on Yamamoto, which means he'll play for someone else. Yeah, there's been nothing rumored Yamamoto with the Cubs, but I don't know. So many people are like, oh, the Cubs need to do something. It's like 90% of the free agents are still available. Like, patience, people. It's December 19th. Christ. Baseball catchers and pitchers and catchers don't even report for another January. 2 months. Get a hold of yourselves. My goodness. Oh, another day and Jed's not doing anything. Well, Christ. Nobody's doing anything. All right. That's my soapbox. Value Box Digger, what's up? Says I'm crazy. Brian says, best place to hide your Mickey mantle is in a 91 upper deck box. Fools thieves all the time. I've been known to, I know. So when my wife and I first started dating, she like warned me. She's like, I don't like surprises, and you have to have a good hiding spot. Now she's like, now after you've been married, you're like, yeah, you don't care. So that's what I would, if I had to hide something, I would just put it in a box of baseball cards, because there's no way she's not coming into my card room, and B, she's certainly not going to open any card boxes. Cooter's in the house. What's going on, Cooter? Tracy's here. What's up, Tracy? Good morning. Cooter says, are you airing grievances on set? Oh, is Festivus on Saturday? Well, we should. I think I did that last year. Little Festivus edition of Hobby Evolution. We'll have to do that. Jody lives in Tampa. There you go. Hey, if you're interested in Bowman draft paper, here it is on Twitter. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but there it is. Cheap Fun Breaks. I will have 110 cases of Bowman draft paper. I will not ship it. I don't want to break it up. I might deliver. Located in Tampa. 44 to 48, 5 wide monster boxes, looking for offers. So there you go. There you go. So he, the price he quoted me was, he got $80. And if you're interested, here's kind of a number to look at if you want to send an offer. He told me last year he got $80 per case, but this year's product isn't as good as last. So he's not expecting to get that this year. So that's kind of a starting point. So that would be about 8,000 to 9,000 total, but less than that. I think I probably personally, what would I pay for that much? I would want to be, let's see. I would want to be between 4,000 and 5,000. I think 5,000. If I was local, I think 5,000. What's that come out to be? Yeah, I might go up to 6,000, but I'd probably start local. If I was local, I'd start at 4,000, and maybe go to 6,000, but kind of $5,000 would be the sweet spot. Brian says he said 45, 5 rows. Value Box Digger says, come for the title of Got a Goodwill Pallet and listen to the can't obtain card boxes in Florida. Right. The Florida Bowman draft boxes came before the Goodwill Pallet surfaced. So it's like, if I would have agreed to buy all that, travel down, it's like, and a Goodwill Pallet, like, geez, I'm going to be sorting for the next 4 weeks. Orlando's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Andy Mack says 4 days until a 2-week break. He must be a teacher. You got those fancy Christmas breaks. Mark says, why don't you rent a minivan? That should work instead of a cargo van, and it's a lot cheaper. I guess it depends. Did I price out? I think I did price out on Enterprise. I looked up Enterprise and I looked up U-Haul. Oh, I know why. Because Enterprise didn't have. Oh, maybe they didn't have cargo vans. I was looking up. Let's just okay. Let's price it out on Enterprise. Madison Airport. Let's say we're gonna do it after because it would be after Christmas. So we're just gonna say January 3rd, and we're gonna drop it back off on like the 5th. Okay. Let's see, and we want a van. How about a passenger van? Because it's I don't know minivan. I might have to move seats and shit. How about a passenger? That's not available. Okay. Let's try a minivan. We got minivans. All right. Ooh, we got a 7-passenger. Ooh. Well, wait, is there a mileage? It's $120 per day. Let's see, but do we have a mileage fee? 2 days, $297. So yeah, minivan that might be a little cheaper, but that could have been an option to save a little bit of money. Because what would have that would have been, and then this is not taking into consideration gas. But if there's no other hidden, doesn't look like there's a mileage charge here on Enterprise with this option. So you're looking at like $300 down and back plus gas. And I think what was the I remember it was 69 cents a mile, and I can't remember. It was going to be like $400 or $500. So it would have been significantly less renting a minivan and driving down and back. So yes, you are correct. You are correct, sir. TD Sports Cards. Good morning. Mark would be interested. There you go. Tampa, Florida, baby. Mark Hoyle, what's happening? Good morning. Brian Bourne, good morning. So I got Kyle wants the NASCAR. Brian wants the Nolan Ryans. Todd, what's happening? Good morning. We have had patience forever. Being a Cubs fan is tough. Hey, we've got 2000, at least, hey, pre-2016, you had to have a lot of patience. Now it's like, I'm still living on that 2016 high, but it's going to fade fast. It did fade fast. I mean, because I wanted it to happen again in 2017. It's like, you wait forever and then it happens. It's like, oh yeah. And then now you want it to happen every single year. Well, it happened in 2016. It should happen this year. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. What's up? Dave wants to know if anybody buys hockey in this group, as I bought a collection, and in the collection was a bunch of 1970s hockey. I don't do hockey. Hey, I was watching John Keating last night, and he went live, and I think he had the same predicament as you. He came across some hockey and didn't have anybody that does hockey. So maybe Low Roller Scratcher does hockey. He tells me to do hockey, so that means he must do hockey. So we all know I don't do hockey. James says draft paper been going for 80 hobby, 100 jumbo a case shipped. And that's what I was quoted 100. Low, and that was local, and I guess they're doing 125. They're getting 125 on their breaks shipped. Because I'm like, what's the volume discount? Well, that is because we're doing it for 125. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna pass. And yeah, when I bid on a couple multi-case, and they ended up going for over 100. Even in multi-case, they went for over 100 a case on eBay last night. There were 2 different breakers that I was bidding on. And I think I bid up to 100 shipped, and I got outbid on both. Value Box Digger says, isn't this show an airing of grievances every day? Yes, absolutely. Tried the Colombian coffee blend from Casey's this morning. It's very okay. I'm not sold on that endorsement. Not sold there. By the way, speaking of coffee, Trader Joe's this morning. Trader Joe's coffee this morning. It's a nice switch up because I've been drinking Dunkin' forever because I get Dunkin' in those giant Costco bins. So I still have Dunkin' left, but I saw the Trader Joe's sitting down there. I've been going. This is because my wife only goes to Trader Joe's like once a month. on average. It's not like there's a monthly trip to Trader Joe's, but it just kind of averages out, it seems. There's 2 full unopened Trader Joe's coffees, which means 2 months worth. So I've been going through Dunkin' for at least 2 months, probably longer. The same bucket of Dunkin'. So it's nice to have some Trader Joe's this morning. Value Box Digger says, I think everyone is interested in the bulk draft paper until they start doing the math at 45 boxes times $100 a box. Yep. Jody says, a bit too many and too much money for my blood, but I appreciate the info. Absolutely. Mark says, who's the account? Did you see? I just shared the Twitter. I think you would have seen. Oh, wait. Are you looking for hockey or Bowman draft? I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be, let me tell you what 110K, because I know what it would be like to sort 110 cases. And that's why I don't want to pay too much money, because I still have 10 or 12 cases of last year's Bowman draft that I had only sorted through. Like, I pulled out the big names, Jackson Holiday. I don't know. There's like 20 names or 25 names that I pulled out, and I still am sitting on unsorted Bowman draft from last year. And like eventually, like before baseball starts, I want to kind of start going through that and putting those on eBay as we approach baseball season again. And maybe there's some new blood or somebody, jumps out, because that's the fun thing about Bowman draft, is letting it sit and then come back the next year and be like, oh, hey, this guy's going to sell now. So that's the fun part of it. But yeah, if I was closer, I'd totally be in on that. But just the geography doesn't make it work. And that's, sometimes when you're dealing in bulk, that's, the money just doesn't work, with travel expenses on top of the product cost. Tracy says, last day before breakdown here, had a virtual day yesterday due to flooding from the storm, but back at school today. Well, good that you got back into school. Sucks about the flooding. Brian says, I rent U-Hauls and cars and vans all the time, but cheapest ways to go on Expedia and rent from your local airport. A car I've been renting here in Miami for $25 to $35 a day for the last month. I'm sure you get since you're renting it for a month, I'm sure it's, you get that multi-day deal, because I'd only be getting it for like 2 to 3 days. So I don't know if I can get it that low. I've had the best luck with Turo, Turo. You can get some cheap rentals there if it's short term. If you're looking to rent for a month, I'd follow that lead. But I like Turo for those short term rentals for a week or less. LRS buys hockey. Being a Cubs fan is tough. LOL. You got 2016 and you're not happy. I'm happy. The other guy's not happy. I'm happy. I'm still living on 2016. I'm still living on that high. But you get a taste, and you want it more. Mark buys hockey. He just bought a ton of vintage hockey. Joe J's in for hockey. There you go. You're going to have a bidding war. Who was that again? Who has the hockey? Dave Richard has the hockey. Ooh, what the hell was that? Dave Richard has the hockey. You've got a bidding war. Joe wants some hockey. Mark wants some hockey. There you go. You should run a player break on your pallets. Recoup some of your losses. That's the great thing about Goodwill Pallets. There's not losses. Usually I can make my money back in pretty short order. That's what's fun, because I can pick some stuff up. Now, is it a grind? Yeah, I'm not pulling Mike Trout rookies, which, by the way, would not be the same as when I pulled it the last time and sold it for $600. The pallet at that time, I think, was $450. Pallet, we're seeing inflation all across the board, even on bulk baseball cards by the pound. I think I paid what did I pay for this one? $580, $550, somewhere in there. And it's only like 480 pounds. I used to pay $500 for 620 pounds. I didn't do the math. I didn't even look. I just clicked buy. Didn't even look at the details. Let's see. Low Roller Scratcher's in the house. Hey, somebody's trying to sell you hockey. Low Roller Scratcher buying hockey. We find it all in the Goodwill Pallets. Trader Joe's coffee is good. Trader Joe's is like a gem. I love Trader Joe's. Let's see. Mark wants draft. So draft is, there you go. If you're on Twitter, it's Cheap Fun Breaks on Twitter. 110 cases Bowman draft paper. The number he quoted me was $80 a case, but he said he'll probably go less than that. So that's kind of a number to use, a guide. Cheap Fun Breaks on Twitter. Mark Marinello. John mentioned it last night. Hey, and if anybody does reach out to them, tell him I sent you. Tell him I sent you. I won't get a referral or anything, but maybe. Maybe you'll send me some Cubs. Mark says, John mentioned in last night's video that I would color in old football books. For the record, he's correct. Brian must be a Brewers fan. He is. He is. Flawed Thinker says, I might have missed the answer, but if you bought a whole bunch of cases of paper, how would you break it up to sell, player lots or singles? That's a great question. So what I did with last year's Bowman draft, I sorted out, and I've actually done both ways. So last year, or earlier this year when I bought it, I sorted all the top players at that time, and I put them in a quantity listing. So I think there were 184 Jackson Holiday. And I put them up at like $6. I think at that time, $6 shipped. And I sold a bunch of them at $6. I think I sold like 100 or 200 for like $2.50 a piece. And then I think my average on all 184, and all 184 of them sold within like a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe it took a month. I think the average was $4 a card, which paid for, because I paid $40 a case, or $35 a case on that stuff. It was super cheap. And like, I still have other firsts that are in there that hopefully they, break out at some point, but I did quantity listings to start. And then, I've gone back through and I've put together like 25 count lots together. I have so much because I've bought, not only did I buy 12 cases of paper, I've bought a few bulk lots that had last year's Bowman draft. I feel like I have 10% of the paper from last year's Bowman draft. So I put together like 25 card player lots, and I've sold a couple of those. So it's, I mean, when you have that type of volume, you can kind of have it both ways. So that's how I handle it. Value Box Digger, you don't have connections on semi-truck drivers that could pick this up. No, I never really did. I worked on the other side. I didn't work on the carrier side. I worked on the company side. You were in transportation. Didn't you make those connections to get you bulk? No, unfortunately, no. Let's see. Dave says, I'm on the Facebook group. Contact me. There you go. Hobby Evolution. If you're not already a part of the Hobby Evolution Facebook group, get on there and contact Dave because he wants to sell you some hockey. Hobby Evolution on Facebook. Happy Tuesday, grinding for good. So I bought another Goodwill pallet. It's been 3 months, almost 3 months. I think September 30th was the last Goodwill pallet that I picked up, which, like I mentioned earlier, half of it's still, the junk is still on a shelf because it's a lot of junk wax. The last pallet might have been the worst of I think this is 16, possibly the 17th pallet that I bought from Goodwill. There's been some really good ones. There's been some bad ones. The good thing is, though, even the bad ones are worth it. I mean, I paid $550 for this, and I'll get a lot of. It's great. It's a great low acquisition cost for like quarter and dollar cards that I can use at card shows. I can put stuff on eBay. There's usually multiple $10 to $20 cards, and sometimes there's some hits. I've pulled some of the things that I've pulled out of various Goodwill pallets. A Mike Trout rookie, back when the market was much higher than it is now. It sold for $600. I paid like $450 for the entire pallet. The second pallet had an entire 5-row box of non-sport, including a ton of promo cards. One of those promo cards was a 90s Marvel promo that sold for $500 on its own. What else has been in there? Sometimes the cards come in. It's not all like you think, oh, a $500 card, it's going to be in a freaking mag case, in a box. No. It's the Mike Trout was in a loose 9-pocket page. The Marvel $500 Marvel card was, unsleeved in a 5-row box in the middle of a box. There was a Giannis ticket stub in like a trash bag, because sometimes they come in trash bags. Sometimes they come in like Walmart bags. There was a Giannis ticket stub in like a garbage bag. That was his debut at home debut ticket stub, his rookie year. And that sold for, I think, $225. So it's just all across the board. I think my best Goodwill pallet was, I don't know which number it was, 10 or 11. But it had just mountains of junk, like boxes and boxes of great junk, like Cal Ripken Jr. rookies, Kirby Puckett rookies, Roger Clemens rookies. There were probably 50 Mark McGuire rookies, Barry Bonds. Just all of those, which those sell really well on eBay. So there's just been, it's always fun. It's like, I can pay $550. We talked Bowman draft a little bit ago. I can spend $550 on a box, a hobby box of Bowman draft, or I can get a Goodwill pallet that you kind of know what you're getting in a box of cards. If it's Bowman draft, hey, you might pull a $5,000 card in there. Likely not, but the checklist, you're getting the same players. But in a pallet, you don't know. It's a gamble too, but it's always paid off. It's always been worth it. Every single pallet I bought, even the bad ones, have been worth it. I get asked all the time, how do you get them? I'm not going to reveal that because, surprise, there's not many Goodwill pallets for sale. What I will tell you is if you go to shopgoodwill.com, sometimes there's pallets on there. So that's the only hint I'll give you. So check out the Shop Goodwill site. Here's the thing, what Paul mentioned earlier, it might not be in your area. Maybe you're in Florida, you can have the Bowman draft bulk, but the closest Goodwill that sells pallets might be in Texas to you. And would it be worth $550 plus travel to and from Texas? Probably not. So you have to take that into consideration also. So Flipping Sports Guy says Shop Goodwill is where I found one near me. There you go. And sometimes the price doesn't work. And I think that was another reason for Paul. The price just didn't work. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes, I had somebody buy, a friend of mine bought some stuff off Goodwill. It was not a pallet, but it was a lot, like a big lot. And I don't know what he paid, but it was junk. And it's like, ooh, I would be. But I will say, of the pallets that I've bought, it's never been nothing but junk. There's always been really good stuff. So yours went for $520-ish. I paid $550 for mine, I think, or maybe $580. What was the prices have gone up a little bit. Let's see, what did I pay? I paid $580. So that's right in the vicinity. And at $580, it's going to be worth it. Done this enough. Even the bad pallets have good stuff. It is a grind though. It's going to be a lot of quarter cards and dollar cards that I sell at card shows. It's going to be a lot of $1.75 eBay stuff. But there's going to be $10 and $20 cards. I always get shown a picture of some of the stuff. here's the thing. That, they spread out like, ooh, like on this one, there's a Ryan Sandberg rookie card on top. There's a Bo Jackson shoulder pads card on top. There might be some vintage on top. I don't think of any of the pallets that I've bought, any of the previous pallets I've bought. Those cards are usually not even in the top 25 of the cards that are inside that pallet. The best stuff is hidden. That's what I found. So that's what I found. And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. What also makes it fun is knowing what sells, because most people, a box of non-sports, like, oh, this is not worth anything. Most people don't think non-sports cards are worth anything. I mean, I'll even put non-sports card in my quarter boxes that might sell for $20, dollar box. Pulled out a Saddam Hussein card out of my quarter box. I knew the Saddam Hussein card sold for a few bucks. I didn't think it would sell for 20, but apparently it did. Now I know that for the future. If I find another Saddam Hussein card, I'm going to put it on eBay, not in a quarter box. But I'm like, oh, this probably sells on eBay for $5. I don't want to list it. I'll put it in my quarter box. Somebody will grab it. That's kind of how I approach it. If I have an idea, oh, this might be worth something, I'll look it up and I'll put, but otherwise it's like, I'm just going to throw it in a dollar box or a quarter box. So there's a lot of stuff like that. Adam Vinatieri rookie cards sell for like $75. Most people think it's a common. Pat McAfee sell for about $10 to $15. Most people think it's a common. There's a lot of cards like that people overlook. And many times I overlook them, but that's the thing. You overlook it. Sometimes you put a card up. It's like, oh shit, that disc golf guy from Allen and Ginter, put it up for $1.50 in my eBay store. It sold right away. Oh shit, it's a $15, $20 card. I know that for next time. Somebody got a great deal and I learned a lesson. And I know next time, Paul, I think is the guy's name, the disc golfer in Ginter. Now I know, look out for this guy in common boxes or bulk. So that is the thing. Jody says, I spoke to a Goodwill store manager a few weeks ago. She said, you won't find pallets in Florida. So yeah. So the Goodwills, I don't think it's like it's certainly not every store, and I think it's regional. I think you'll find them in regions. And again, yeah, like you may not have them in Florida. You may have to go to Texas or Pennsylvania, Arizona. So not every area will have the pallets. So that's about all I had for today. I'm going to pick that up this afternoon, and maybe tonight I'm going to do a bunch of shipping today. Burying the lead. I've got to promote tomorrow's show. But I think I will go live and do just some unboxing of this Goodwill pallet. So stay tuned. Maybe tonight we'll do that. I want to talk about Car Dealer Pro. So if you're interested in Car Dealer Pro, not already, I know many of you already are using or have used Car Dealer Pro in the past. If you want to get signed up and do a subscription to Car Dealer Pro, go to cardealerpro.com. Use the promo code CUBS, C-U-B-S, and you'll get 500 free scans upon your paid subscription. 500 free scans using promo code CUBS. Go to cardealerpro.com. Exciting news about Car Dealer Pro. You've all been waiting for CDP 2.0. And I know they've had some delays in getting this public, but I know I know patience is tough. We want it now, but I'm glad that it's been delayed because they're able to work through any issues. You don't want Car Dealer Pro 2.0 to be released now and it's not ready, and then now you're upset because it's not working correctly. So it's good that it's been delayed. But I think soon it'll be released to the public. And Ted Mann will be with us tomorrow morning, live here on Hobby Evolution to talk about Car Dealer Pro 2.0. And let me tell you, I've been using it and testing it out. and you are going to absolutely effing love it. I love it. So that's all I'm going to say until tomorrow. Ted's going to join us tomorrow morning live on Hobby Evolution, talk a little Car Dealer Pro. CDP 2.0 is just about ready for public consumption. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So you will love it. I guarantee it. I'm just going to tell you, okay, I said I wasn't going to say anymore, but I'm just going to leave you with this tease. When I started testing it, it was way better than I expected. Way better than I expected. And I'll when I talk with Ted tomorrow morning, I'll explain further my thoughts on CDP 2.0. So that's tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Ted's going to join us from Collects and Car Dealer Pro. We're going to talk about Car Dealer Pro 2.0 tomorrow. And if maybe you stopped your subscription, you want to give it another test run, throw that promo code in, Cubs, CUBS, cardealerpro.com. You'll get 500 free scans using that promo code upon your paid subscription. So that's tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the Goodwill Pallet. Probably go live at some point, either this afternoon or this evening. I don't know when. And do a little unboxing of the pallet. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Oh, shoot. I also didn't mention more info on the we're only 52 minutes in. There's more info on the whole what we talked about yesterday. On the Superfractor gate. So let's bring up Mario's post. So Mario from Twitter has been investigating this whole Fanatics and Bowman Draft Superfractor, the DFW Card Shark. This is what we talked about yesterday on the show. So Mario said, official statement from Fanatics regarding the 2023 Bowman Draft Superfractors and DFW Card Shark. Less than 5 minutes after I tweeted out that I had a source with direct connection to DFW, the Fanatics CEO of Collectibles, Mike Mahan, called me directly to discuss the pending investigation. He and his staff have been working throughout the weekend and continue to make this unfortunate event their top priority. Mike informed me that the Topps cards on DFW's eBay account were stolen. These cards are not fakes or customs, but are incomplete superfractors that did not pass quality inspections due to lamination issues and were set aside to be destroyed before being smuggled out of the facility. There is a very limited amount of these cards, and collectors will not have to worry as none of the damaged stolen cards made it into packs. They are also easily identifiable as the serial numbering was stamped on the back of the card instead of the front. Furthermore, all grading companies have already been alerted by Fanatics and have agreed to not grade any of these stolen, incomplete superfractors. Mike has promised me that every single collector who purchased a stolen Topps card from DFW will be reimbursed by Fanatics and that the company will take stringent efforts to keep this from ever happening again. Let's see. As one of the Fanatics' toughest critics, I commend them for stepping up in this time to address the issue with us collectors. So far, no comment from Panini America, even as it appears that they, too, are dealing with stolen trading cards from DWF Card Shark, DFW Card Shark. So there it is. Good work by Mario Alejandro, baseball card blog on Twitter. Talking to the source at Fanatics, Mike Mahan, on those. And that's kind of what I thought it, I think these were backdoored extra copies or something that just got out the back door. So shout out to Fanatics and bravo for not only, and we don't know when companies, anybody says there's an active we don't really know. Is there really an active investigation? But look at the transparency. Shout out to Topps, because Topps hasn't been in the past, pre-Fanatics, Topps was never transparent with really anything. And now that Fanatics has taken over, do I disagree with a lot of what Fanatics has done since taking over? Absolutely. Have I been critical of some of the stuff? Absolutely. One thing that I applaud them on, though, is their transparency and their willingness to work through some of these issues. Have there been a lot of mistakes and fuck ups? Absolutely. But they're making efforts to fix them and hopefully not happen again. In transparency, I think is huge. Where what are some of the issues? Pre-Fanatics, we had the missing wood minis. Wasn't there like an Evan Longoria superfractor that apparently has never surfaced? Which I have my own thoughts on that. But there's been, and Topps doesn't say a thing. At that time, they never said anything. They never addressed that. And now Fanatics, now in charge of Topps, now owning Topps, taking charge in transparency. Now, do they have to be transparent about everything? No, it's business. But I think when issues like this arise, I think it's important to be transparent and tell your customer base what's going on. Why is this happening? Are you going to make it stop? And I think that's key. Mistakes were bound to happen when a company, took over like this. I expected this to happen. I didn't expect every product to have something like this occur. So hopefully now that we've seen like 3 or 4 of these in a row that, okay, we need this shit to stop. But I love to see that transparency. So bravo. But it's like, fool me. What? Oh shit. I'm going to sound like George. I'm going to sound like W on this. Shame me once. Shame on you. Shame me twice. Shame on me. I don't know. I think I got that right. So hopefully we won't see any further issues to this scale, I guess. But we will. I mean, there's always going to be, every company makes mistakes. Hopefully we just see fewer. All right. That's a wrap. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, go to Car Dealer Pro. Join us tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Ted Mann from Collects and Car Dealer Pro is going to talk CDP 2.0. We're going to get the details on Car Dealer Pro 2.0 tomorrow morning. So have a great Tuesday. Make sure if Wednesday is your trash day, you hit the curb tonight because tomorrow is trash day here. So I got to take the trash out tonight. Have a great Tuesday. Hopefully go live again later today and unbox some Goodwill Pallet stuff. So stay tuned for that. I have no idea what time. It might be 3 o'clock. It might be 7 o'clock. I don't know. I would say, though, if I were putting money on it, probably either when I get back in the afternoon, John's here, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or 7 o'clock tonight. So that's what I had. So like, subscribe, visit my eBay store, go to Car Dealer Pro, and see you later today or tomorrow morning later.